And then there's a period of this guy Deng Xiaoping being the leader, saying that it's glorious to be profitable and make money. And so suddenly they're all revolutionary, like making a lot of money, right? So they have a society of chasing after incentives, being rich, and a lot of neighbors used to be poor farmers and they're rich. And so they kind of grow up in that environment. So it's about, and I think, because I mentioned something similar for the Indian culture. And again, always disclaimers, I'm talking about bell curve averages, not any one person has to be that way because they're from somewhere, some type. I feel like the Indian society does it in a more quiet, persistent, precision way. And the Chinese culture, they're very similar from a Western view, but the Chinese culture does it in a more frantic, super FOMO, which is also CDA, very black hat, as you can see. Yeah, so Indian is more like CD3. They're like, they see it as a game, they're trying to figure it out and they feel really smart. But the Chinese are afraid they don't jump on the next big thing and the next big opportunity, and they're going to fall behind. Their neighbors are getting rich. Why aren't they getting rich? So they have a lot of energy and like, again, this revolutionary kind of spirit, and they're very much go-getters. We talk about all the Chinese students in the classroom, they all sit in the very front, and the other students are like in the middle or back because they just want to be there, learn everything possible. So when you design for gamification for China, which again, besides just different culture, because it's a controlled country, like I don't know what you're designing for, but if you're designing for Chinese speaking countries, I mean, China is the biggest market. So that's something it's important to address no matter what. You just want to have a lot of excitement, constant things going on. They have a lot of tolerance for black hat, and they don't burn out very easily. And group share, like everyone has to be following this trend. And the amazing thing I hear is that they were just purely on cash, and then suddenly, I guess central government decided, hey, we should be cashless. We should use mobile payments. And then within a year, like China was almost all on mobile payments. So they moved very quickly onto the next big thing with a lot of frantic energy. Yeah, when it comes to other Chinese speaking markets, Hong Kong's always like stuck in between now, right? Because it's getting better. They are a unique culture of their own for sure, absolutely. I think it's not as strong, but generally, I still feel like in general, having clear desired actions to design that play the journey. If you look at Chinese games, there's a lot of things, a lot of features, right? One Punch Man game I just mentioned, a lot of features, but they use glowing choice a lot. They're like, here, click here, do this, click here, now do this, now do this, now do this. So out of like, there's like 50 things you can do, but you just mindlessly following things, and it's like, oh, reward, boom, 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 reward, boom, boom, and this game has 50 different types of resources. And at the beginning, it's all confusing, but you're just like clicking the glowing choice and just like, oh, I get this. Oh, I get this. I don't know what this does, but I'm getting it. It feels good because it has like ding, 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 ding in front of me. Ding, ding, ding. And eventually you get to a point where, oh, I don't have this. I can't level up because I missed this resource. Okay, how to get it? And it'll be like glowing choice to get it, go there. Okay, go there. And it's like, oh, now you can understand this, and eventually understand all the resources. But it's like literally 50 types of currencies in that one game. So glowing choice and desired action is still very, very important. I will also say that a lot of the things from the Western world are still considered better design and more prestigious. So, so they still feel like, oh, a lot of things. The thing with the Chinese designs, they don't get overwhelmed very easily. So a lot of stuff that gives you features and benefits and reward is good. But they also but when they see something that's clean, they see that's very direct path, they also, they see it as a higher, more prestigious,
like more luxurious product,
yes.
kind of.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Like some people think of as French.
So one more follow-up question about this tolerance, because what I was thinking about, so now I'm not designing for Chinese market, but it's something that I'm interested in.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking if this more usage of black hat, is that something that they like, or they just have a higher tolerance level, but it's still not that ethical to use it more?
Um, so we know that black hat for short bursts could be exciting, gives you a lot of adrenaline, right? That's what we say. Having a 2-week competition is kind of fun and exciting between your coworkers, but having a year-long competition kind of burns you out. And I'd say that they have a much higher tolerance for black hat, which means they keep up that adrenaline for a long time. Like life is a big race. They're constantly running. But I know many people in China, they plan like in their 30, 40, they said, I want to retire in Australia because, first Australia is like closer into China, right? But it's like, it's the relaxed life, not so much triggers, not so many, all this stuff going on, the highway and all this pressure and stress. So I think people do kind of still feel like feel very tense, and they have this thing of that burning out. And this is a big thing with the epic meaning and calling. They do have CD1 in their culture because it's a culture where, again, it's back to that, I should behave a certain way. I should be responsible. It's not just me being happy. Some cultures like, hey, I want to be happy. I want to be free. So I'm just going to go do my thing, right? My parents have this big business. They want to pass it to me. I don't want to do that. Like, I want my life, right? And in the Asian culture, you tend to feel like you have no choice. You have to accept your parents' business. So they will, this epic meaning and calling will allow them to sustain the black hat for much longer, because they feel like that's what they should do in society. They should they should chase after every incentive and good, because they've been through poverty, right? They've been through immense poverty, and you have to do it for your family, your parents. Like actually both in the US and in Taiwan, we had I've had 2 Chinese nannies. They're taking care of my twins. They're like 55 to 65. And they said they're working overseas very hard because they're trying to save up so they can buy a house for their one son, because in China, apparently, if you don't have a house, you can't get a wife. And they want their families to extend. So the 65-year-old lady is away from their family overseas in US, taking care of twin daughters from someone else, because they feel like that is what they have to do as a CD1 thing.